Hey everyone, Once Bitten here at the Battle Report. So this is my current Beastman list versus a Vampire Count's army, of course, using the new army book. And what I really like about this is this player is trying out a lot of the, or some of the new units in the Vampire Count book. So very excited to play this game. Let's see, starting on my left, he's got a unit of vargheists, a fairly big unit of Black Knights with the Banner of the Barrows. And then yeah, he's just got a ton of characters, and this is going by memory, and I just don't remember all the details here. But he's got, starting on the left, he's got a necromancer, and I'm fairly certain he said this one had the cursed book, although during the game I don't remember him ever really using it. A horde of ghouls with the white BSB, a very small unit of zombies, but I know he can grow them past their starting size. So he's got his generals, a level 4 necromancer, and I know he has the black periapt in there. And I know he has a white. I don't remember how that white was built, though. I just know that when we finally got in combat, he was kind of a character assassin because of his killing blow ability. One of those two has the Rod of Flaming Death, because that was used during the game, and I just don't know which one it was. Anyway, so then he has a horde of skeletons, and in there he has I believe that's a Karen Wraith, and I know that he has the Night Shroud. Up in front, you see he has 2 units of the Hex Wraiths, and those are the things I'm really worried about. I don't really fear them in terms of my big gore units, but those things all by themselves could kill my Doombull and really put a hurt even on my Minotaurs. So hiding in the woods is another character, and again, I believe this is a necromancer. Yeah, it's a necromancer, and then he's got some more vargheists on the far right. So here in the corner, that what looks like ruins is a building. It's actually the Acropolis of Heroes. So to the right of it, I have some harpies. Inside the building, I have my big unit of Minotaurs, and you notice I did not put my Doombull with them. When I put them in the building, I had planned on putting the Doombull in there, and then I just, for whatever reason, I decided, because my opponent had so many more units on the table, that I didn't need all that power in one unit, so I didn't place them with them. So then I've got my 2 units of gore, and by the time I placed characters, this is funny, it was just a real mental lapse on my part, but if you follow my battle reports, you know that I've been taking my battle standard bearer and my mages, I've been giving them magic swords just so if I face an army like this, I have some way of dealing with ethereal units. So I thought that my mage had a magic sword, so I put my characters with my general and BSB in one unit and my mage in the other, thinking either one, if they could get in combat with his Hex Wraiths, can take care of them or at least help. And yeah, so I was wrong. The unit on the right has magic weapons, and the one on the left has nothing magical in there that can hurt ethereal units. So then there I have my Doombull, and again I'm really worried having those Hex Wraiths anywhere near him because they'll just kill him just by running through them. I'm not worried about combat. I'm worried about them as fast cav marching through them and doing 4 or 5 strength 5 hits, no armor save. Anyway, then I have a chariot and some more harpies. So I actually win the turn to go first, which I was very happy about. And overall, it looks like that. So up close, basically, I took my Doombull and both gore units and charged all 3 of them at the Hex Wraiths. The Doombull needed a 10. I was really hoping he would get in there because he would just mop the floor with those guys. But yeah, I didn't expect it to happen. My gore units, I think, needed a 7, and because their movement 5 is 12 inches away. And so I was confident at least one of them would make it. The wrong one made it. The one on the left that has no magic attacks made it. So basically I have a charge, a banner, 3 standards. So I'm starting with static combat res 5, and then he's going to have a total of 10 attacks. So basically I'm hoping to wither him down through static combat res, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it. Now here on the right, I brought the Minotaurs out, and I placed the Harpies and the Chariot in such a way that basically I didn't want his Hex Wraiths to be able to march through that unit and just go back and forth. So basically, they can't land in the building. They can't go through them and on the other side because the Harpies are there. If they come out threw them towards the chariot, I don't think they'll fit because they have to maintain an inch. And if there's any way you can make them fit, I think my gore unit would be able to charge them on my next turn. So that's what I was trying to set up there, is just blocking him out so he couldn't just march through my units doing those 5 strength 5 hits on me. So after combat, it looks like that. So I was starting with static combat res 5, and obviously I won combat by 3. So he didn't do too many wounds to me. He's sitting with only 2 guys there, but if you look at it, his Black Knights have a fairly easy counter charge. And I know he declared a charge with his ghouls. I was questioning whether or not they could wheel around and actually get in there. But whatever. And we go to his turn, and he tried charging with the Black Knights, the ghouls, and the zombies, and had a failed charge with all of them, which is absolutely insane. I mean, those ghouls alone, I can't imagine what he needed to roll, but probably anything but snake eyes. And his Black Knights, he rolled 3 1s for them. I mean, it was crazy. I might have thrown the dice or something, I don't know. Now, one thing that's helping me in that combat, by the way, is I did get +1 strength and toughness off on my gore unit. So I'm toughness 5. That's, I think, what really helped the hex wraiths not wound me more. But anyway, yeah, kind of crazy. You can see he took the vargheists on the far left and moved them over to help in the middle. And he brought these guys, he marched through the house, through my unit, and then came back in front of my Minotaurs. He did a couple wounds on me. He's obviously not afraid of me charging him. I was very happy to see him take his vargheists away from this, because had he brought his vargheists up, I would have been screwed. But as it is, I've got my harpies that can charge into the flank of this unit. So on my next turn, I'll have a charge, a flank, a banner, and a rank. So I'll have static combat res 4, and at least I have a chance of killing these guys over time through static combat res. If the vargheists were anywhere nearby, I wouldn't have been able to do that. So overall, it looks like that. And then I love winning combat on my opponent's turn. So, yeah, he only had 2 guys left. I won combat by at least 2. Remember, I had the +1 strength and toughness buff on me. So I didn't want to charge my guys on my next turn into the face of those ghouls, because I likely wasn't going to pop them in 1 round of combat, and then he just would have flank charges left and right. So what I did was I reformed them so that I could squeeze between the house and the ghoul unit and hit that necromancer. In all honesty, when I reformed, I was thinking about charging the Black Knights, but when it came to my turn, I realized it'd be smarter to hit the necromancer. I don't think I can complete the wheel, so he's going to have to close the door to me, which gives me a perfect angle to overrun into his Black Knights. So, yeah, I love when that happens. I hate it when it happens against me. When combats are won, when I win a combat on my opponent's turn, and then I can reform to set up my next charge. So we go to my turn. The gore that were in the middle charged his necromancer. Otherwise, I just move up. On the far left, took my chariot into this unit of vargheist. I really don't think I'm going to win that in the long haul, but I'm hoping to get lucky on the impact hits, and maybe just weaken this unit. Otherwise, I really don't see my chariot contributing a whole lot to the game. Yeah, there's the clip. This was tough. It was we had to kind of get down there with a tape measure and show that I actually could wheel around the ghouls and hit that guy. But I could. So here on the left, this is the charge I was talking about. So harpies in the flank. I really just need my opponent to get unlucky with his rolls, because he does have 10 attacks. Half of them are at strength 5. I need him to not do too many wounds. I don't really care if it takes me a couple rounds to kill this unit, because every round, as long as I win it, my Minotaurs start getting frenzied. But yeah, over time, and every time I win and he loses a couple models, that reduces his chances of getting wounds on me. So we'll see. Overall, it looks like that. So if you look on the left, my chariot comes in there, does I think 3 wounds through my impact hits, whatever it was. He did 3 wounds on me, but through active wounds and through combat res, I ended up killing 2 of the vargheists, and I was very, very happy about that. I think next round of combat, he's going to kill my chariot, and that's okay. I mean, that unit went from 3 to 1, and I can't complain about it. The Gore easily beat the Necromancer. Matter of fact, we didn't even roll it. He tried to wound me. He didn't. He knew he was going to pop through static combat res. I overran into the face of the Black Knights, and yeah, that was great. This was kind of weird too. When I overran, I should have closed the door to him, but he kind of insisted that he had to close the door to me. It was just really weird. I didn't think we'd be at this angle. I'm not sure it matters one way or the other, but if you notice the angle being wrong, that's why. So over here on the right, I was happy enough with this. I think he ended up doing 2 wounds on my Minotaurs, but regardless, with everything there, ended up winning combat by 2, so his unit went from 5 to 3, and that gives me hope that in future turns it'll be harder for him to wound me, and I have a chance of popping this unit over time through static combat res. And he really doesn't have anything nearby that can come and help out with the combat. So Vampire Count's turn 2 is vargheists that started on my far right came over. They charged my harpies, and I fled because I really didn't. It would have allowed him to just kind of get on this behind my lines. And then he decided to charge my Doombull. Now during my magic phase, I got the Savage Beast of Horus off on my Doombull, which is absolutely crazy. That means I have 9 attacks at strength 9, re-rolling to hit, and every wound you do on me gives me more attacks. The Doombull is bad enough as it is. I think my opponent forgot, even though the card's right there. So he charges the Vargheist in there, and I'm just saying thank you. He is going to slap them around, and it's just going to give him an XD Frenzy attack. Yeah, bring that on. Otherwise, there really wasn't any place for him to charge, so he just kind of kept his lines back. Now this kind of ticked me off. During the magic phase, he used the Rod of Flaming Death, and I didn't even use any dispel dice. I let it go through. D6 strength 4 hits, doesn't bother me a bit. So he killed a couple of my guys. It forced an automatic panic test, and I failed it on a 9 rerollable, which just really sucks. And what sucks about that is, on my next turn, either I'm going to rally or I'm not. And either way, it counts as moving. And when part of this Rod of Flaming Death is, if you move during your next movement phase, every model in the unit takes a strength 4 hit. So no matter what happens next phase, on my next turn, I'm going to lose half this unit. Just really, really ticked me off. In hindsight, it looks like I fled away from the Vargheists because they were the nearest unit, but I think I probably should have fled away from the Rod of Flaming Death because that's what caused the panic test. It wouldn't have really affected anything. I'm just noticing an error. Also during his very good magic phase, he raised units into zombies, and he rolled 12. So he got 12 plus 4, 16 zombies in that unit. So that went from being tiny to being actually pretty big. And over here, he's down to 2 guys. I don't know if that's exactly what he had last time, or if I popped another one. So either way, I still have a rank, a standard, and a flank. So I still have 3. So I'm really just hoping he does less than 3 wounds to me every time. He only has 4 attacks, so I actually have a decent chance of that happening. Yeah, and over here, it was just silly. He charged him with his Vargheists, and yeah, they didn't have a chance. If you look at my Gore unit, if you look at the top left, the Vargheist killed my chariot. I was only on 1 wound, so that didn't surprise me. The Gores, looks like I've cut that Black Knight unit about in half. But now we're kind of at a stalemate. I'm having a hard time wounding them because I don't have any leadership nearby, and they're only leadership 7. So between Fear and Primal Fury, I'm failing at least one, if not both of them every time. So overall, I'm okay. If nothing else, they're tying the Black Knight unit up. My fear is that should he ever win combat, I'll be steadfast, but it's easy to lose that steadfast. And he has a Vargheist charging in next turn, so that's really my big fear there. So I rally my general's unit and lose more than half to the strength 4 hit on everything. And you notice I have 2 wounds on there, 1 on my general, 1 on my BSB. So we go to Beastman turn 3. So I remember several games ago against the same opponent, I charged the Doombull into this ghoul unit and ended up losing because they had the regen banner. But now they don't have the regen banner. I'm really excited about this. I like all those poison attacks coming at me because they result in extra attacks for me. And I'm starting off with 7 attacks, re-rolling to hit. I like my odds of definitely we'll just hold each other up for a little bit, but I like my odds of eventually winning that. So overall, the board looks like that. It looks kind of weird. We kind of combats going on in the periphery, and in the middle, really not a whole lot going on at all because he's held back, and my big unit ended up fleeing that one time. So here on the right, he's down to one guy. Now I'm confident that I'm going to beat him through active combat res. He'll probably pop next time. I've lost 2 Minotaurs, but at the same time I've gained 3 extra attacks through Frenzy, through the Blood Greed rule. So pretty happy, fairly happy with that. I'll beat him on Vampire Counts turn 3. So on Beastman turn 4, these guys are going to be, or on Vampire Counts 3, I'm going to be able to reform these guys to give me a charge into his skeletons on Beastman turn 4. And by that point, I'll have 4 Frenzy attacks on there. Let's see, over here, he issued a challenge with basically his champion, so I scooted over to the champion, easily killed him, and then weakened the unit a little bit through just by winning combat. And over here, yeah, like I said, I cut him down by half, but now we're just kind of in this stalemate over there. The thing I have going for me is I have 3 ranks, so I start off with static res 3. The problem is I can't get past this 2-up armor save. So Vampire Counts 3 as Vargheist comes in, and this is where if he hadn't been so adamant about closing the door with his Black Knights, that Vargheist would have come in the flank, which, whatever. I mean, I think it would have helped him a little bit there. Let's see over here. He takes his rather large unit of zombies and marches them forward, moves up with the skeletons, and we pop here. So I'm very excited to charge into his skeletons next turn. I'm only going to get 2 or 3 Minotaurs wide into combat because of the house, but that's okay. He wanted to get in the house with the skeletons, but he was too far away. He would have had to march in there, and I told him he couldn't march into a building. So yeah, all he can do now is stand there and take it. And another nice thing is my Harpies can see his Necromancer that was in the woods, and he's exactly an inch away from his unit, and my Harpies are less than 1 inch wide, so it's an easy charge to make, and I think my Harpies have a decent chance of killing a Necromancer in hand-to-hand combat. Now over here, I was very happy with how this turned out. Basically, I think I did a wound, maybe 2 on his Vargheist, and basically was able to not get wounded by him. So we ended up sticking around there, and I was more than happy with that. I think over time I'm going to win that War of Attrition. And really all it takes is 1+1 strength and toughness buff, and this unit's gonna really mop up his units. But my magic phases have been just awful. Now this is great. During his magic phase, he was too busy doing other things that he couldn't raise his champion back. So I just went to town on his rank and file guys, and more importantly, all of his rank and file guys attacked me, and they had tons of poison hits that went through, which I saved them all because I have a 1-up rerollable. They all turned into extra attacks. My Doombull went freaking crazy on this unit. I want you to realize I've only been in 2 rounds of combat with him, and in 1 round I couldn't do a whole lot because I was in combat with his champion. And that horde of ghouls is down to what you see there. Makes me happy. Anyway, Beastman turn 4. I think my general's unit and the chariot charge his unit of zombies. My Minotaurs charge his skeletons. My Harpies charge his Necromancer. Now we're finally just all tied up in combat, and if we're going to do a slow grind, I really like my odds on it. Now here he does have, I think it's a Cairn Wraith that has the Night Shroud, so he's going to move him over so that 2 of my Minotaurs are touching him. They're going to have Always Strikes Last, and that just really doesn't matter. And more importantly here, I've got my Battle Standard Bearer touching his general, and then my Beastlord's going to make way, and he'll go to the right of my BSB, so he can choose to go on his general or on rank and file. So, I kind of split my attacks with my general, but basically his general's going to die real soon. And he doesn't really have anybody for the leadership to turn to. He's got a Necromancer that just got charged by my Harpies, and he's going to die very quickly. And after that, all he has left is a Cairn Wraith and 2 White Kings. So he's going to start having to take his crumble test very, very soon. So it looks like that. Over here, yeah, I win combat. His Vargheist dies, and we're just still in this grind out with his 5 Black Knights. Fear the wrath of the Doombull. I'm just ignoring his BSB because I think he's got a 4-up ward, and I just don't need. I'll just kill him through combat res. I'll just kill the other guys. So my Doombull's maxed out at 10 attacks. My opponent said he thinks I can go over 10, and I said I'm just going to play it as if I'm capped at 10 because I don't want to get accused of abusing a rule. But yeah, I mean that combat there is mine. Over here, I kill his general, reform to give me more ranks, and I'm really not worried about that. Now, his white king issued a challenge. Now, he's kind of a character assassin, so I accepted with a champion, and he whiffed his attacks. And so basically, we're going to go one more round of combat. He's easily going to kill my champion. He's going to keep issuing challenges, and at this point, I'm just going to refuse, and he can send my Beastlord to the back. I don't need my Beastlord to win this combat for me, and I'd really rather him not kill my characters. And over here, yeah, you can see those skeletons just, they can't stand up to my to all those attacks. Let's see, I have, at this point, 5 frenzy markers, so I'm at 8 attacks each on my front line, and then, of course, 3 supporting attacks each. So my guys are just whipping up on his skeletons. He's got his Cairn Wraith in there that I can't hurt, but it's just not affecting anything. Now, if you look at the Harpies with this Necromancer, I charged in and only did 1 wound to him. But yeah, I still think over time he's going to die there. You notice he did grow his zombies, and he grew his ghouls. And it just doesn't matter. At the end of combat, it looks like that. His skeletons are going to last maybe 1 more round of combat. Even though he regrew his zombies, I just took them right back down again. So they're not going to last very long. And this was his turn, so I think on my turn I'm going to pop both of those units before he has a chance to regrow them. At this point, he just conceded the game. My Harpies killed his Necromancer on the right. We didn't even roll my Doombull. My Doombull would have whooped up on that unit. The Black Knight's on the left. It looks like at this point he'd already pulled him off. I don't think I killed him, but it just over time I was going to kill him. And like I said, he did kill my mage, but that was too little, too late. And the Beastmen were going to mop up at that point. So, it was an interesting game. I think, he's still getting used to his units and what they can do. I think, the vargheists into the Doombull was just simply a matter of not understanding what vargheists can and can't do, and they certainly can't take on a Doombull. I don't know what a good solution would be for his Doombull. He had the right idea. He wanted his Hex Wraiths to just, use their special ability to kill him, and it would have worked, except I was able to make one of my charges, but I should have made one of them. I only needed a 7. So, yeah, a little, I think a little more getting used to his army, and that would have been interesting to see if I could have saved my Doombull just by getting him into combat as quickly as possible. So anyway, that's it. Another victory to the Minotaurs and Doombull against the vampires. Hope you enjoyed it.